check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. It is Wednesday. Let's get set up here, people. How are we doing this morning? How is everyone doing? Let's wake up. Let's get up. Let's get started. Another great morning here. It is starting to set in. The cool air is starting to join us here in the Northeast. This is Oloropo. Here with B&V Finance Fixers. Let's get up, people. Let's get started. Let's get going. And make sure that microphone's on. Make sure you guys can hear me this morning. This morning we're going to discuss a little bit of credit. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Rich. Welcome in, man. How we doing this morning? Good to see you. Let me get this tracking if I can. You guys, welcome, welcome, welcome in. It is Wednesday. We are moving towards fall. I'm excited. It's Labor Day weekend here in the United States. Well, not yet, but it will be coming up. A celebration of hard work and growth based on that hard work. Thank you guys for being here. As always, let's get up, let's motivate, let's encourage, let's build. This morning we're going to be talking a little bit about credit. When we're talking about it, we're going to talk about the correct way to use it, to move away from it, and the difference between credit and leverage. Not the same thing. I'm not a Dave Ramsey guy. Dave Ramsey's philosophy is never use credit. Pay for everything in cash. Put your money in basically high returning savings accounts and then try to make it till you die. Try to die before your money runs out. Good morning. Hello, that is that Bior? Hello, Bior. So, we're going to talk this morning about the difference between credit and leverage, how to use them, the benefit of them, how they work, and giving you the opportunity to build. We have to get away from the premise that money is evil, and then away from the premise that using money to build is evil. Most of the planet is filled with consumers. Small percentage of the planet are the people who provide either the resources or the products that we consume. We do not have to be forever at the bottom of that food chain. And that starts with understanding utilization of credit. Something I learned a long time ago is one, you cannot save yourself wealthy. Not gonna happen. And the second thing I learned is it doesn't matter where you work or how much you make. There is a lifestyle that will consume all of your money so that wherever you work and however much you make only allows for you to stay in that place. We have to change our views, our behaviors, our understanding, and our actions to move out of that space. Danny, good morning, Danny. What's happening this morning? We have offer. We have, who's that, Pikachu? Where are you walking to, man? Always to the future. Hello, Axe. How are you doing this morning? Guys, top of the hill. Thank you for being here. Chewy says, so how do you know that our lifestyle needs change? I didn't say, I don't know if your lifestyle needs change. If you want to change your lifestyle, this is the best English I got, Keith. When we ain't making enough to support the lifestyle we live. Well, it's not about changing your lifestyle as much as it is about changing your life goals. If you are happy, because a lot of people are happy, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to take away from you being happy where you are. And for a lot of people, that's all it is, simply. People are just happy where they are. If you are happy where you are, then you stay there. I mean, it's that simple. I'm not trying to tell you you got to break your back to be somewhere where somebody else is if you've never wanted to be there. I'm not telling you you have to overextend yourself or to overexert yourself or twist yourself out of shape to try to become something or someone that you've never been interested in being. I do know if we use our money, our time, and our energy correctly, that those things that we enjoy to do, that time we enjoy to spend with the people we care about, doing the things we care about, when done correctly, we have a greater opportunity to take advantage of those things, to spend time in those spaces, and to enjoy those activities, right? So your lifestyle may be exactly what you want it to be. I'm gonna clean these glasses a little bit, guys. See if I can improve my visual of this screen. Again, good morning. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Walk and Talk. All right, so we have Speak the King's English. Are you trying to listen, you know the first thing I'm gonna say in regards to the King's English is a cereal. Cheerio. I don't, listen, I thought it was the Queen's English. I didn't even think it was the King's English. Lucky Luciano said, is that streamer just drove past you and called you a weirdo for walking so early? Well, some dude actually did just walk past me. I don't believe he called me a weirdo, but we are out here early in the morning quite often, guys. Thank you for being here. Chewy says, thanks, man. I'm pretty happy now, but there's work to be done. We have work that we can do, definitely, and that's what the process will be for most of us, is identifying the work that we need to do, and then serving that purpose, right? And so, hey, just a sec, Sadij, Rabani, hey guy, listen, I see that you've been spamming Persian Gulf in the chat. I'll be completely honest with you. Everyone who knows me knows I don't kick people for saying anything in the chat. I don't kick you. You've shared Persian Gulf is important to you. We've seen it. I've even addressed it now. There are people in the chat who would like to share information relevant to the stream, relevant to the conversation. Please be considerate of those people. If not, I'll kick you. But the only reason I kick people is for spamming the chat. So I'm just going to ask that you do that. Thank you very much. Nicola. What? Okay. On the rap situation, on the Raja situation, I don't really have a position. I think it's a bot, brother, or like a spam account. Probably is, right? John Joe. Welcome in, John. No, not directly. Not as like this morning from Africa. So let's get into this conversation, guys. Let's talk about how we use finances, what's referred to as credit, to grow and build our life. So, as we always start with, as what's most important in this building process is going to be discipline. Doesn't matter what you're trying to work on, finances, fitness, faith, family. If you lack discipline, it's pretty much a guarantee that you're not going to be successful in whatever this endeavor is that you're working on. So, what do you do if that's what you're trying to achieve and you haven't been able to do so? What do you do if you're trying to grow your wealth, your family, your legacy? If you're trying to improve and you haven't been able to do so, we need to make improvements. We need to make change. And those areas where we make improvement and make change are going to be in our mindset and our behavior. Discipline helps to do that. Discipline teaches you have to start with repetition. That repetition needs to be followed with patience, at which point you've developed a skill in which you can apply to consistency. And once you've become consistent, at that point, you learn that perseverance is what works on you. You learn to persevere. And perseverance is what builds you to be able to handle the difficulty and become the person you need to be in order to see the things you want to see when you get where you're going. So that's always going to be a big part of making sure we're working towards our goal. Now, when it comes to credit, here's the biggest thing. Live within your means. Starts with budgeting. When you go to use credit, credit is for the purpose of building, not acquiring. That's why it's important to understand you can just consume with credit, which is why they literally use the word consumer credit. It's a different bracket within the credit industry, within the banking industry. And it's saying that, hey, you want something. And this thing that you want, you could save up and get, or you can get it now and pay us back later. Same thing as payday loans. Same thing as these quick turnarounds. But these things do not build. They're not offering an opportunity for growth in that way. So how do you change it? It's about you. It's about utilization. It's about understanding that if we're going to use credit, we have to use credit to grow and to build. It's about creating leverage. When we use credit to build something bigger than the cost of that credit, we are learning to leverage. That is what we want to do as people. Now, most people believe, oh, well, I don't have a business. I don't know what a business is. What type of business do I start? All of these things. Well, here in the United States, I know they have a similar thing in Germany. Here in the United States, they have LLCs. First LLC in the United States, I want to say, I forget the number, it was in 1970 something. So the original LLC in the United States is not that old, which means the framework was put into place to be used by individuals who just wanted to protect their business, their personal assets from their business. Because like being able to do that provides them with some safety net, be able to take care of their family, not have to worry about whether or not if something happened with the company, they would be liable to lose everything that they own. Some of the major changes that have taken place over the time has shown that LLCs can become S corps, you can grow, you generate revenue. This is what you use credit for, is to build in that fashion, to grow in a way that's going to allow for you to have a return large enough for you to be able to live off of. Why is this important? It's important because until we understand the utilization of money, until we understand the utilization of credit and leverage, we'll find ourselves continuously in the same loop of being consumers. Dave Ramsey's philosophy is be a consumer, but only consume with cash. Buy a house with cash. So saving up to buy a house, if you put money in a savings account because you want to purchase a $500,000 house in a year here in the United States, you're going to keep saving and saving. It's going to see some incremental growth over time. And then you're going to walk up and say, hey, I want to purchase this house with $500,000 in cash. Otherwise, you're taking on debt. So his whole philosophy kind of falls apart at that point. Because if you're saving up to buy a $500,000 house, why not invest that money? Start a business. The business is solely you investing your money and then get a return on that investment. This is my view of living your life as a business. I believe it's the new direction that life needs to go, and credit is a part of building that. If you want to start a business and you want to get it moving in a way that's going to generate more return than debt has been created, then you need to have some funds. Managing your money behavior and your credit correctly allows for you to do that. It allows for you to grow. It allows for you to develop. Guys, it is now 5:01 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States. It's Wednesday. Please remind me, today is what? Let me check. Today is the 27th of August. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you for taking the time to stop in, to comment and share. We want to talk about, what we're talking about this morning is credit. I'm usually a lot more pumped up when it comes to motivation and getting you fired up and prepared for your day, prepared for the belief in yourself that the things you want to achieve are within reach. And they're within reach because you have the ability to grow. You have the ability to extend yourself, to achieve things. And this is where growth takes place. So this morning we're talking about finances. There are some specific actions that can be taken to change the way that you will live and change the way that you can see the world. Right? You could go from being a consumer to a creator, even within your own life. Creating a money funnel that finances your life and allows for you to get your freedom back. That's the major exchange. We need to stop exchanging our time for money and then exchanging money for things, and we need to learn to exchange our money for time and then use our time to live, right? That's the key. That's how credit should work. And that's when credit becomes leverage. So what's the difference between credit and leverage? Primary difference between credit and leverage is that credit requires for you to take on debt in order to make a purchase or build, to invest. That's credit. You have nothing but your word. In some situations, they'll ask for you to put some of your money in so that they can loan you their money. Like you buy yourself money. Like you give us $2,500, we'll give you $25,000. So it's like you give me 10% and then we'll give you $25,000 that you'll pay back with interest. And by the time you finish, you will have paid us back somewhere around, I believe one of the good rates on loans right now is somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 for borrowing $25,000. Purchasing a home is ridiculous with today's current interest rates and down payments and monthly costs. So, what does this let us know, right? What does this tell us when we're in a situation where credit needs to be such a big part? Well, I was talking about leverage. So what's the difference between credit and leverage? Leverage is when you have money, not just something of value, because you can borrow against your house, but in your name, I want to make this clear, your house in your name is a liability. It's not an asset. Banks don't look at it as assets. No one does. Everybody looks at that's something you have to pay. If you go to buy something, if you go to extend yourself to get more credit, they have a little question. Do you rent, own, or other? Because you owning a house doesn't necessarily improve your credit rating because you have responsibilities to pay that house. And what they really want to know is there something that we can place a lien on, that we, as the debt, as the creditors of your debt, can leverage against you if you don't pay us back. That's the importance of the difference between renting and owning, because it's not about, we're going to put you in a higher status because you own. It's about, we can put you in a higher status because you have something that we can come and physically place a claim on because you haven't paid us in the way we want to be paid, at the rate we want to be paid. Leverage is about having information or having finances that allow for you to get money without having to give up anything. That's leverage. Leverage gives you the ability to go to someone and say, hey, I know this. I'm not putting anything of myself on the line. It can work similar as credit in the terms of if you don't do right with the money, they're going to be looking for you. But the benefit of it is you have that in place. When you build a stock portfolio, when you grow that, you can leverage it to grow your business, to do further investing. When you learn about leverage, leverage says, I'm going to let you use my money to grow your money, and then we're going to share what you grow. And you don't have to give me anything to use it. That is how the basic level, one of the basic levels of leverage is called margins. Opening a margins account is really simple. Takes I think you can open them with as little as $2,000 with some companies, some brokerages. They allow for you to exchange. They allow for you to use these margins to do investments. Put in $2,000, they'll let you borrow $2,000, so you basically have $4,000 of money to invest with, even though you only put in $2,000. That's leverage. The benefit of this leverage is that once you're utilizing this leverage, you have the opportunity to invest other people's money to accelerate the growth of your own money. That's the key, is making sure we use it. Now, credit can be used as leverage as well if it's used appropriately, if it's used to grow. So, you want your credit to be used? All right, well, make investments. Even if you make purchases, Myron Golden tells this story about not wanting to fly, so he wanted to get a private jet. And so he goes in and he adds to Myron Golden's Bible-based prosperity teacher. He has some good stuff. Been on YouTube a long time, just figured out like in the last year or two that he could make money from it. He's on here, he's selling, he does sales primarily. He even talks about in the past doing multi-level marketing, but one of the things he talks about is purchasing an airplane. And he talks about the process of purchasing this airplane and specifically stating that at the time when he wanted to make the purchase of this airplane, they gave him the number and he was like, okay, well, I can make that happen. How much does this cost? Like, how much is this gonna cost me monthly? And so he's like, okay, well, he calls it he pays for it with an offer. And so what he does is he goes out and he tells people in his seminars that I have a new level of investment or a new level of teaching where I can share with you and you get to spend time with me directly by paying me $25,000 to fly back home on my private jet, right? And so whatever his monthly cost was, I can't really remember, but essentially he bought this jet off of what people paid him to fly with him. So he used the credit, right, that he used to get the jet to create an offer, to create something that people would pay for to make the money from people paying for that thing. So he has a really interesting philosophy. It's primarily driven off of find something to sell it, market it, and then get the money to grow from there. Not everyone is going to write a book. Not everyone's going to start a business, but there are still ways for us to grow, still ways for us to invest, and still ways for us to use credit and leverage to improve our life. I have Earthly Trade, greetings. I design, okay. Business partner to set up AI, okay. Earthly, no. Listen, Earthly. I need you to do this first. I need you to fly to the United States so we can sit down and have a face-to-face. We need to have some conversations about your computation AI. Smart people don't borrow money. John, run Forrest run. You commented smart people don't borrow money, and then you followed it with run Forrest run. Okay, Falcon, I borrow money off my mom and girlfriend. Don't think they mind. That was Falcon who says he borrows money off of his mom and girlfriend. I'm just saying, you can borrow the money off your mom and girlfriend, but put it to use. Like, I don't know how much money you borrow. If you're not in New York, I think you can buy a pack of cigarettes and sell them on the street. Cigarettes are expensive now. So I guess you buy a pack for how much ever they cost and then sell them for $2 a cigarette. You can pay your mom back and grow your little corner store business. Earthly said, I didn't get your last message. I said, visit the US. We can sit down and talk. Furious Styles, is it better to pay the interest on loans or get a consolidated loan and pay back that way? I don't need money, I just steal. That's from Gang Stalker. Thank you very much, Chatham, for your comment at Falcon. If seven of you save $333 a month, okay, come on, Chris. You could all buy a house outright without credit. Talk to him, Chris. Shiro, business from Nigeria are often scams. Occasionally, right, listen. It can be. Chatham, 40-year-old. I'm not sure what that meant. Not everyone is a scammer. No, not everyone is a scammer. But like I said, come visit me. Come visit me. You got my email. My email is on my channel. Shoot me an email. Let's set up a conversation to sit down and talk. Let's work out the particulars on the financing. There's lots of money here in the United States. I mean, lots of money, and people give it away. So there's a way for us to get there. It does not necessarily require for you to have to come into a chat we can talk about it and I can help you find the financing you need. So you asked the question of, is it better to get a consolidated loan? It was a question about getting a consolidated loan to pay off debt versus getting a, versus paying off the interest on that loan, right? I think that's the question you ask. So, I'm gonna approach it this way. We have to take a look at the debt. What type of debt is it and what are you looking to do in your future? How old are you? And how much money do you make? Like, all of these things are part of the consideration, because ultimately, as I said, the goal is to move away from credit to leverage. It's to move in that direction. Where are you at in that process? And how do you want to move forward? So I can't remember who asked the question. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, passive income tips, put your money to work for you. There are a lot of different ways to do it. Look into some investment opportunities in Nigeria as well. Better to pay interest. This was from Furious Styles. So Furious Styles, I don't know if you're still in here or not. But it depends on a number of factors. So before we can talk about, I'm not going to give you any advice. There's a lot of general advice, and the general advice is, hey, be aggressive paying off your debt, reduce your expenditures, get rid of the things you don't need, stop paying for streaming services and for that you don't use, don't watch, stop paying subscriptions for things that you don't take advantage of. Like, there are a whole lot of ways to aggressively work on reducing your credit, right? Reducing your outstanding credit, getting it off your back. But the whole reason to have this credit is for a credit score. And the purpose for the credit score is to be able to get more credit. And so if we're using our credit score to acquire more credit, we're still in the credit window. So it really doesn't matter how aggressively you pay off your credit if you don't have a plan for when the credit is paid off, right? That's one of the things we have to keep in mind. It takes discipline to do this, which is why I discuss discipline more than anything else. So the best thing that I see is to have a plan first, because it'll make a difference of what you do with your money. It will definitely make a difference. The amount of money you make and the amount of money you owe. And here's something that I want to share with you guys that's super important. Here in the United States, there is this sense and this feeling that they give people of, hey, you have to do the right thing, right? You have to protect your credit score, because that's what good, honest, God-fearing people do. That's what good Americans do, is you pay your debt. You owe someone, you pay them. That's how we live. That's the nature of what holds this society together, is our commitment to being loyal and honest. And hey, listen to me. Don't let somebody sell you a bag of coins. Let somebody sell you a bag of nickels for $1 million. Listen to me. You have to realize, and you have to understand, your objective needs to become building wealth. It needs to become growing your money. As long as your objective is to pay off debt, to get things, oh, I just want to be okay. I don't have to be rich. You don't have to be rich, but you don't have to not be rich, right? Why is this important? Well, because the philosophies that you follow, the teachings that you adhere to, will go a long way towards determining how you're going to live your life and in which way you'll do so. What do I mean by that? Millionaires on a regular basis, right? We can go back to the financial collapse of 2008 on a regular basis. We can go back to COVID. Why do you think they gave out stimulus checks? Why would you think they were called, why was it called a stimulus check? Why were they giving out money for people to be unemployed? The government was giving you money. We don't want nothing back, just take it. Why? Why were they giving it to you? Wasn't for you, because if you didn't invest it and grow it, what did it stimulate? It stimulated purchases. There was fear. People were fear-stricken. They're like, the world is coming to an end. What am I going to do? So everybody started holding their money. Everybody said, I don't want to spend any money because I don't know where my money's coming from. And so they said, hey, we're going to give you money. You still got people today praying for another COVID, for a $2,500 check, so they can go out and party for 3 days. You see what I'm saying? So what do I mean about why is all of that relevant? Because this economy is built on consumers, and then they have consumer credit. If you owe money and you can pay that money back, and the reason you're paying that money back is so you can borrow more money, and the intent of borrowing more money is to buy more things, why pay it back? They have laws in this country. 7 years, it's gonna fall off your credit anyway. You get enough debt, you can go in there and just file bankruptcy. Oh, no, that's bad. That's bad. How many times have you heard of businesses file bankruptcy and stay in business? The financial collapse of 2008, they literally told these banks, you are wrong. You did things knowingly that it would harm your consumers. It would harm the people who are borrowing money and buying houses. You know that this is not sustainable. You knew it wasn't sustainable for a long time. And you changed your paperwork to hide it because you were making profits. And then they went in front of the government and was like, hey, listen, look, we did some stuff. It was bad. We get it. It was bad. But who else you got? Save us. Save us. Cut me a check. And they started cutting checks. They paid billions of dollars out to these industries in order for them to stay afloat because they were too big to fail. You aren't big enough yet. And this is what a lot of these new millionaires and billionaires have found out, is that if I borrow money and build something, I just have to be too big for the bank to just call in my debt. That's all I have to be. If I'm big enough, we'll work something out. Am I telling you to go out there and be a horrible person and build up a whole lot of debt and then tell them to rework it? No, I'm telling you, stop listening to people who are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars, because I'm not one. Stop letting people who are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars, who are living off of the money you spend and the way you consume, tell you that the most important thing in your life is your credit score. And they don't have one. They don't have a credit score. They don't borrow money. Everything they do is off leverage. They're not looking for anything from you. And they're playing a money trading game. Their money makes money for them. Their money makes more money than they could ever make. And you're sitting here trying to pay off your loans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to not pay off your debt. I'm saying pay off your debt in a way that makes you powerful. If you're not going to do anything with the money, if you're going to stay a consumer, why do we even need to have the conversation? Because all you do when you pay off your debt, you're going to get a good credit score. They're going to increase the amount of credit that you can have on your credit card, and you're going to buy a bigger television or a better TV or a different car or more furniture to go in the house or eat out more often or whatever it is you're going to do. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they give you a $500 credit card. I don't care if you get a $250 prepaid credit card. If you are not putting it to work, if the money available is not going to work for you, then you are a consumer. Excuse me. You have to invest in growth. You have to invest in development. Now you have leverage. Now you have something to work with. Now you have a way in which to say, I am growing. And no, not every investment is going to be perfect. Not every investment is going to be right. But this is the direction that we have to learn. This is the mindset that we have to develop. But it takes discipline. It takes discipline. Y'all heard my story about Popeye's chicken. Man, me and my wife sat down and went through our accounts and cards. We spent $1,200 on Popeyes in a month. Now, it wasn't all me. We have children, so, but it's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of money that we could be investing. Is Popeyes on the stock market? Like, who are they owned by? I probably should have bought stock and less ghost pepper wings. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is this. It's not just about whether or not we have debt, whether or not we're paying our debt down. It's about what is our plan? What are we going to do when we are debt-free and our credit score is 800? What's the plan? What's the objective? Until we get into a position where we're prepared to grow wealth, we're prepared to put money to work, then don't get credit. If you ain't got nothing to grow, if you ain't got a plan, if you don't have a vision to grow something or to build something, you don't need to be borrowing money from somebody. But we need to have this plan. We need to have this idea. We need to have this interest, because this is how we build. This is how we grow. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Please, if you haven't dropped the thumbs up, please do so. It costs you nothing at all. I never opened a credit line, and one time I applied for a credit, they denied me. That's because you have no credit history, Sam. In order to build that, they want to see that you can handle it. So, prepaid credit card for like $250, use it to grow. Understand you're using it to grow your leverage, to grow your wealth, because you plan on doing something bigger in the future. Not to use it to get a line of credit to shop for a computer, unless that computer is going to be put to work to help you generate more money. I usually put all my eggs in one basket. Sounds great. Michael, I like to say to you, man, make it a big basket. It's great having everything in there. Just in case you drop the basket, maybe invest in some, I don't know, styrofoam or something, kind of protect the eggs. You remember that thing you made in 6th grade to wrap the egg in? Some of that. That sounds beautiful. Sanity said, I get SSI. He said, I get SSI, I can get approved for a credit card. Can you tell me why? Yes, because you're on SSI and they believe the government is going to pay your debt. And so if you're on SSI and you approve for a credit card, they have an understanding and an expectation that you can pay your debt. A lot of states now are allowing for banks to go, or for credit card companies to go directly after the individuals and sue them in small claims court. And if they're able to do that, they can garnish your wages and stuff like that. So, yeah. Smiley, I meant Cat. Serving, what's going on today, Redeemer? Popeyes always reminds me of Little Nicky and Glenn off The Walking Dead. It is, you have to go up under there, you have to put in for it to see it. But it's bnv.financefixers@gmail.com. Easy one. Furious Styles, the idea is good. Everybody can't get to the place you talk about. You're not wrong, but life be lifing. Life do be lifing. You can get there. So we have to understand, right? Like there's this song with like, there's levels to this. There's levels to it. There are levels. And dude, I'm on a really low level, like in terms of all the levels that are out there. But what we have to understand is in order for us to change our level, we have to change our way of thinking. We have to change the way we approach things. See, people think they gotta disappear and then pop back up. No, you don't disappear, you move in a different direction. You never show up there again. Why would you show back up somewhere that wasn't conducive to your growth to begin with? We're not disappearing people, we're building. We're becoming bigger, we're becoming stronger. So when we start to invest our money, right? When we start to leverage our money and we start to use it to grow, and we do it for a purpose and it makes us bigger and it makes us stronger, I'm not going back to where I was. That used to be a thing for me. Hey, let me move up and then go back and show people where I'm at now. Let me show them how big I am now. But that's not the relevancy of why we do what we do. Because if you've moved up, then you should be still looking up. There are so many rungs on this ladder. There are people who, how do you have $1 trillion? I saw a post a few days ago that says the world is now $325 trillion in debt. To who? So these are the types of things that we're talking about where when we're looking at the levels to where to go, there are so many levels that we can grow on and we can build on. But we have to be good. We have to understand that we have to make decisions and take actions to see that happen. Falcon, thank you very much for the sub. Ceflo says from Turkey, welcome in Turkey, how are you doing? Furious Style says military vet, over 40 with 11 kids, made plenty of mistakes, trying to do better now is not the same as at 20. Now is not the same as at 20. Now is not the same as at 20. Right, to who, Rich? So now isn't the same as 20, but here's what you've done. Here's what you've done over your time. One of the things that the military likes to instill is discipline. You have to now apply that discipline to your finances. That same discipline that told you, hey, get up, make your bed, it's time for you to move. That same instruction where they told you, we go here, we hurry up and wait, right? But you go from hurry up and wait to hurry up and be patient. You get started and you understand that your money has to grow. So you start to invest it, you start to put it in. You're over 40, but you're gonna live for another 40 years. If you're over 40, how many years were you enlisted? 10, 12 years? Then how many years was it before you actually were a person who could make their own decisions, where you were living up under your parents? Like, dude, you were in the prime of your life. If you're in your mid 40s, like this is your life. Like, yeah, 20 and 30 is where you should grind and build your bank so you can live the life you want to later, but we're past that point. You're over 40. This is the opportunity for you to simply say the same discipline that they instilled when I was in the military is the same discipline I can instill to my finances, and they made us do stuff we thought was unbelievable. They made us do things where we were like, there's no way where any of us are coming back alive. If you served and you were in actual wartime, that means anybody who served over like the last 40 years, you've spent some time like stationed somewhere. If that's the experience, then you understand you can do the same thing to your money. Your money are little soldiers. Put them to work. Tell them go grow. Get in here. Get in this investment account and grow, right? And you're investing. And this is a big thing that I want to share, guys. I have to get off of here because I need to get in the house. But here's something really, really big. Here's what I want you to understand. Investing is not the same as saving. No money takes money out of a business. Zero. All they do is invest in the business. They get the money that the business makes. If you put $100,000 into a business to start a business, that $100,000 will never go down. You put $100,000 in, you leverage credit with the bank to get yourself another $150,000. Now you have $250,000 to do business with. You will only grow that. Any revenue you make helps the business grow. The return, the profits on that are not the business, they're profits. But you know what? You're gonna reinvest some of that, and some of that you'll take a draw on. Investments are designed to grow. If that's the case, if that's the situation, why are they telling us to invest in a 401k and then start drawing money off of it at 59 until we die? Because it's not an investment. It's a highfalutin savings account. We have to change our vision, our understanding, and our mindset to know the difference between an investment and savings. Investments, listen, the things you're invested in will stay around long after you're gone. Why would you live off the money that you have invested to grow when you can put it into a business, put it into an LLC, let it continue to grow, and pass it on to future generations? Right? That's the difference between investing and savings. For most of us, we're saving so that we're not broke when we die. Hey guys, I have to get ready to get out of here. I want to thank you all for being here this morning, contributing and being part of it. Currently putting everything I got into self-investment. All right, invest in yourself. You got to believe in something, Earthly Falcon. It's better than watching rotten fish, high paranormal. I don't know what that is. Is that an actual thing? High paranormal. No, come back. Okay, you guys are having a different conversation. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here this morning. If you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share with you guys. As always, remember, discipline. It has 4 pillars. It's going to start with repetition, which is just showing up. Patience, understanding it's going to take time for you to mature. And then it's going to have consistency. Consistency is where you design a plan and you are able to mark your growth. And ultimately, it's going to end with perseverance. Perseverance is the thing that works on you, so you are who you need to be when you see what you want to see. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure seeing you out here. Until next time, guys, I simply like to say, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. Until next time, guys, God bless. Take care. You guys